So the Oscars happened and Hassan Piker was there. And This Is Entertainment Tonight showing this video of Hassan looking like a lesbian, which we love. Okay, this is Hassan talking about it on his Hassanabi.
It starts off at the red carpet.
Oh no, this is Hassan Piker. Wait. Yeah, this is Hassan Piker.
I'm right here and Quentin's doing an interview. I walk in. You guys know I've gone out to protests. I've gotten stun grenades tossed my way. I've spoken in front of massive crowds, sold out rooms, rallies, tens of thousands of people. This was the most nerve-wracking 5-minute sequence in my entire life up until this point. I have never been more nervous in my fucking life. Shouts out to Phineas, who basically saved my life by being there and being like a very famous person that other people wanted to talk to because nobody knows who the fuck I am. I just used him as my island. I'm in the background, really? You can see in this interview, but basically
the
like
back is beautiful. Yes, looks so good.
If you had to be in one movie this year, what would it be?
You can tell, right? Like you can tell I'm nervous in the background. No, I didn't get to see Hannah Einbinder. I did talk to her beforehand about like what to expect. Like, look at this. You can see the fear in my eyes, dude. No makeup, no hair. Literally just fucking went in there. I met Hudson Williams, by the way. I met him. I hung out with him a little bit. He was chill. Yeah. Also, the other thing is like Tiana Taylor was like right before me. So everyone was like going crazy over her, understandably, because she's like a real celebrity. I also chickened out as far as talking to Javier Bardem. That was my biggest L of the fucking night. He was literally standing right next to me for like half the night. I wanted to go up to them and be like, yo, I really love what you guys did. Thank you so much for like hyping up the Cuba flotilla. And I just could not do it. Wagner Mora, yeah. He posted about the flotilla, I think. He posted about like the strangulation of Cuba. I wanted to talk to them and I was so scared. I'm a fucking chud loser, bro. I'm such a chud ass loser. I could not do it. I've never felt nervous. Like I don't fucking feel nervous ever. Okay. I don't feel shy ever. This was a different situation. Oh, I saw Quinta.
Okay. So let's just pause there and then we'll keep going. Chet said, I find it annoying that he's intimidated by Hollywood stars. Chet said, I'm so nonchalant. I wouldn't give a fuck about being around these stars. Okay. I thought when I first watched this, on my first watch, I was like, oh yeah, I have anxiety too. But then when he said I never get anxious except in this situation, I was like, wait, what's different about this situation? You just said you had like things thrown at you and you've been protested and you've had your life threatened, but like meeting Hollywood stars makes you anxious. And then this brings into question again the ethical and not unethical kind of stance about like as a progressive, as a leftist, we know the Oscars are infamously just horrible for minorities and just all of these things are popularity contests and all of these things are just like some of the shittiest people in a room together. So I always struggle with this myself where I want to get along with everyone. I want to be like, oh my God, you're so cool. I like you. But also it's hard to be an activist. It's really hard to say I'm here as an activist, so therefore I hate all of you. Or, hey, I'm a person, so hey, I get along with everyone, right? Because like, look, I can get along with anybody until we're serious about something. So the question is, going to this after party, is he showing up as Hassan Piker, the boy who's meeting celebrities? Or is he showing up as Hassan Piker, the activist? Do you know what I mean? And so this is like what's really, really difficult about being a public figure is like 5, 6, 7 years ago, if they had asked me to come to this, I would have gone just to be in the bubble, just to see what it was like. But now if you ask me to do this, I feel like it would be contrary to my values to go to an Oscar party. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it would be offensive to my values to be asked to come to this. Like, why would I come to your fucking faux celebrity, popular kid, fucking so unserious party? It's a historically very discriminatory party. Like, why would I come to this thing? But that's the point is like, I don't know Hassan Piker's values. And I say this time and time again. And again, I would defend Hassan against most 99% of conservatives because they're all fucking stupid. But as a progressive or a person who's even trying to deconstruct and become like the most radical, you know, what is the value here? Like, why did you show up? It does just feel like he went, holy fuck, a chance to be in the room with celebrities. Fair. Humans are going to human. We get excited to be around famous people. We get stoked at the idea of being recognized and validated. But then again, you're rich, you have prominence. Yes, nobody knows who you are in this bubble, maybe, but you are somebody, you know? So like, why with all of your privilege and status don't you become the most radical, right? And so like, that's the question, right? Chad said, I think he wants to live sometimes because his profession is very serious. For sure. Like I can understand that pressure, but then that's the question, right? Do you lose the ability to quote, this is the Chappell Roan controversy. This is Chappell Roan all over again. Are you Chappell Roan who built your platform on being like a fighter for minorities, and are you going to continue that? Or are you going to throw us under the bus when you want to sign with a production company? Now, I know she let go of her last agency, her marketing agency, which was really good, but you know, maybe she's working with some companies that are questionable, or maybe there's some here. So again, I'm not coming for Chappell or for even Hassan. I'm saying, isn't it hard to be a good person? Look how hard it is to live within your values. Okay. Look how hard it is to do collaborations with people and to realize like even doing collaborations, even rubbing elbows with them looks kind of bad, but also what does this mean? Okay. So I'm not saying I know the inner thoughts of these people. I'm saying it brings into question the whole thing. And then of course, this is the other part that's hard. The audience wants him to go. The audience does want the validation, right? You get it too, and I know you do, and it's okay, that you will subconsciously feel I am more valid if people talk to me. Me doing collaborations with other YouTubers that people consider like one of the guys will bring me social validation and be like, okay, good. I'm not just watching a girl in her bedroom. I am watching Brittany Simon, who does philosophy, and look at all these people validating her existence, which validates my existence as a viewer who watches this person. So Hassan's viewership is like, okay, I'm not just watching a guy yell at a microphone. I'm watching a guy that even Hollywood invites to their parties. Whether we like it or not, we're validation seeking creatures, and we give validation to the people doing things because we want to be proud of the people that we watch as well. We want to brag and say like, he's not just a streamer. He's a person, or he's not just a guy. He's not just because we demonize people too for their status. Oh, you're just a streamer. He's not just a streamer. He's an activist. He's not just this. He's this. Okay. Right? We're all things, but being a person is enough. But I understand what they mean because some content creators, to be fair, really are just people with microphones, and they maybe shouldn't have one, you know? So I get it. Okay, back to Hassan.
Talked to her briefly. I was like, yo, you were at BuzzFeed with my best friend Will Neff. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, you should come on the podcast. And she was like, every time I go on a podcast, I get in trouble. Yes, Quinta know who I was as well. There are people that I know, like I know Kieran. There are people like that I know that I, hung out with before this thing. And then there are people that know of me that I met. I guess
that's Brittany Broski, right?
it's like the only one that was relatively surprising was the heated rivalry guy. He knew who I was, and I thought that was cool. Rami Malek was probably the coolest like mega star that I met. Right there at 123 out of 162, Hassan Piker. I look like I could be like a Japanese high school kid. What about number 20 on the list? Who's number 20 on the list?
Is that hold on, wait, is that Dua Lipa? Or no, is that who is that? Dua Lipa. Okay, I was right. It is Dua Lipa.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Okay, I also know he got a sound machine and half his viewers hate it and half his viewers love it. I don't know, it's weird. It feels very fresh and fit for him to have a sound machine. I'm dead that moving into the future, his future was fresh and fit. Like, that is so funny to me that he got a sound machine.
I met her husband. He was chill and I could not talk to her. There was a couple people that I really wanted.
Why couldn't you talk to her? Intimidated by Hollywood stars, bro? I get it. I have social anxiety talking to strangers at Walmart, but like also
to talk to Bella Hadid obviously being one, Dua Lipa being another one, people that have done like advocacy for Palestine.
Is this like a humble thing where he's trying to be humble, like a false humility, where he's trying to be like, oh my God, I was in the presence of these great, strong women? I don't understand what he's trying to explain here. He's in love with Dua Lipa. It's a joke. He has a crush on her. Ew. Ew. What? That's so like, are we not seeing the patriarchal misogyny of it all? What do you mean you have a crush on an adult woman? What does that even mean? Is this a joke? You're in your 30s. You do not have crushes on adult people who are strangers to you. It was a joke from COVID times. I don't know what's happening now. This is what I'm saying. I get it. You want to be a jokey and you want to be a serious person. I get it. It's hard. See how it's hard? Like, I don't understand. What are we talking about? What do you mean you're a grown ass person who has a, I'm so autistic. I actually am autistic. So I don't actually know. You know what I mean?
For years and years. And yes, I was too much of a chicken. Okay. Is that what you want to hear? I literally stood next to most of these people and I did not fucking talk to them. I am too afraid. It starts off at the
Yeah, it's like almost like a false humility type. Like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Chat says, I don't get it. What do we mean by crush? Why is it wrong? It's a form of objectification into adulthood to have a crush on someone. When you're a child and you have a crush on someone, you're learning how to fall in love. You're learning how to have an infatuation or an attraction to somebody in secret. When you're an adult person, you know that a crush is just a lack of information, right? It's a form of objectification, which isn't inherently wrong. But as an adult, you should be able to say, I'm interested in you versus I have a secret crush on you and I'm going to act like a girl and I'm going to act weird around you. And like, oh my God, like, I don't think it's cute. I think it's actually like really uncomfortable, especially for a lot of women, to have men only talk to them because they have a crush on them, or like, you know, you're jokey. Like, I don't think it's actually great. And it actually, if I knew a guy had a crush on me and he was being weird, like I would write him off as a creepo. Because like, what are you talking about? You have a crush on me, bro. We're in our 30s. Ask me out or move on. Because it's just like, it's a little inappropriate at a certain age. As a child, it makes sense. You don't know what to do with your life. You're a kiddo. So I'm not coming for children. Like, children are babies. They don't know what they're doing, right? Okay. And so like, when you're like, you know, chat said it's a fantasy. It's not like being in love, but that's it. It's a fantasy. Why are you telling me about it? Keep it to yourself. It's like somebody saying like, oh my God, I have your poster in my bedroom and I masturbated to it every night. Don't you think it's fucking weird? Do you think I would end up with somebody who was like, oh yeah, like I have your poster on my wall and I kiss it at night? I'm not going to marry that person. So that to me is like kind of the same as like Hassan being like, oh my God, I have a crush on her. And oh my God, I was so intimidated by her. Don't you have a girlfriend? Also, like, what do you mean? This is why I'm confused. Doesn't he have a girlfriend? You know what I mean? But also, like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Okay. Chat says women say guys are cute all the time. What's the difference? Saying someone is cute and having a crush on them is different. Being weird around an adult person because you have a crush on them is different than saying people are attractive. One is a fact, one is true, and one is leading up to actions that are different. If you were sitting there and being like, I'm so nervous around another adult human, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? It just feels weird. Crushes are a lack of information. Just say if you're an adult, you say, I'm attracted to that person. I wonder if they're interested. I wonder if I would like them past that. You do not have crushes. Like, crushes are for kids who are like, it's all a dream. It's not real. This is what I'm saying. People don't know what they want out of relationships. What do you mean you have a crush on someone and you're 40? You know what I mean? Like, listen, when I was a little girl, my friends and I would get celebrity purses and celebrity posters and we'd be like, oh my God, I love them. And then we grew up. Somebody has to be the adult in the room. You know what I mean? Like, somebody has to be the adult in the room, you know? And so I don't know the lore. I don't know the inner jokes with his audience. I don't know how much of that is important. It's really not even about that, by the way. Okay. It's not even about that. So I don't know if his audience, I don't know what information I'm getting. It's not about Hassan though. Again, I really need this to not be about Hassan. It's just that he happens to be the largest leftist creator with a microphone. So he's going to get the most criticism because, okay. Now with that said, let's talk about Business Insider inside the kitchen making 30,000 meals for the Oscars. So just to be clear, 30,000 meals were made for this event. Again, let's bring it back to the ethics. Let's bring it back to the morals. Let's bring it back to the community. Let's bring it back to leftism, right? 30,000 meals were made for this event.
After the Oscars end, more than 1,500 hungry guests head upstairs to eat.
Welcome to Wagyu Land.
And famed chef Wolfgang Puck is in charge of feeding them all.
Most of the people didn't eat all day. You want to fit in your dress, you know, they make it as tight as possible.
But this isn't your standard party fare. Chefs are dishing out Wagyu flown in from Japan, caviar, and pot pies loaded with truffles.
$4,000 worth of truffles right there. We spare nothing for this party. This is the party of all parties.
To juggle it all, Wolfgang flew in top chefs from places like Istanbul and London. Together, they'll whip up 30,000 plates in just a few days.
Once they announce the best
Do you know what I'm saying? Gross. Gross. Gross.
director, all hell breaks loose, everybody starts to shout.
This is Wolfgang's 32nd year catering the Oscars. And
Look, I'm not coming for Wolfgang, right? Like, I'm saying, you know, $4,000 worth of truffles, lavish food, 30,000 meals for a party that does what? Now, this is the part that I want you to question. This is the larger conversation I want to have. We have a problem with things like the Oscars or other things that discriminate against people and then have been mostly a popularity contest. Can you have this event that is truly inclusive? Can you have an event that's liberated? Can you even have an event like this that isn't just disgusting and grotesque and gluttonous? Like, can you actually have an event like this that isn't just so unnecessary? Because really, what is this? They say, oh, it's to pay homage to artists or pay homage to people who are creative. Is it? You know what I mean? Like, what is it really? So, like, you know, what in a perfect kind of leftist utopia, how would this fit into that dream?
he's calm at the helm.
Don't look so serious, it's okay. Monday will come no matter what.
In sports, to have Super Bowl, we have the Oscars.
We have the Oscars.
We went behind the scenes with Wolfgang Puck to see how his team feeds Hollywood's biggest stars after the Oscars. It's 2 days before the Academy Awards, and the kitchen of the Dolby Ballroom is in full swing.
We're starting today to make all this wonderful food, but nothing is cooked today. It's just prepared.
That's Chef Eric Klein, the VP of Catering and Wolfgang's right-hand man.
He started with me how many years ago?
Over 30 years. Chef.
Over 30 years ago. He had 3 wives, but he has more luck with me than with all the wives, no? Well, yeah.
Eric is one of 120 chefs Wolfgang flew in from across his restaurant empire, which spans 7 countries.
I would have never imagined being here where I am today. When I was a kid, I just dreamt to get out of my stepfather's house and start something.
He and his executive team started planning the 84-item menu roughly 3 months ago.
I know better than anybody out there what they eat. I'm doing that for 40 years.
This year, for fact, we have a very last-minute oriented menu because there's a lot of Austrian desserts for Chef Wolfgang. Those you can really do a day before. You have to do it minute of.
And there are a lot of new dishes, like the Wagyu steak frites. Chefs can't drop the fries until the hour of the party, but they can start butchering steaks.
Right now, I'm going to trim all the fat.
Like American Wagyu New York strips. And this Miyazaki Wagyu shipped in from Japan.
Miyazaki won the big prize in Japan. Like we do Dancing with the Stars here, they have the championship for the beef.
So this is the marbling right here.
Chefs can season them now, but they'll wait to sear them until the day of the event. Some menu items come back year after year, like the Oscars with caviar. They'll go through nearly 30 pounds of the fish eggs alone, which cost $50 per ounce. The team has served the truffle chicken pot pie for 25 years. And Wolf says he'll never take it off the menu.
All hell will break loose. There would be no more Hollywood. Like Barbara Streisand, when she had it the first time, and then she gave it to John Travolta and said, taste this chicken pot pie. They ordered 3 or 4 of them.
It takes 2 days to make the chicken broth for the sauce. That sauce meets up with the veggies, peas, carrots, and celery in this industrial vat. Chefs hand pull piles of chicken. That also gets mixed in with the veggies. Each of the 1,200 ramekins gets the same amount of pot pie mixture.
We put the final touch, which is a special little shaving of truffle. So that way...
Look, I love a cooking show. I love cooking things. I love all this. I love generally event planning and stuff. I think it's interesting. But again, it's such an awkward little bubble for me because I just don't understand why it exists in the way that it does. Not generally. I understand that. Let me rephrase. I don't know why it is. No, I actually do know that. Hold on. I understand every social implication of name dropping, networking, showing up, being photographed, being named. I understand there are so many social benefits to being invited to this event, to being the chef in charge, to being a person who works on it. You get to tell people, even the people who got to work at the Oscars get to tell people, oh, I worked for the Oscars. You're saying I worked for something people recognize. And therefore, it gives you social credibility. But do you see the construct of the social credibility that we're building here? And we're saying in this bubble, this exists. And we're saying Hassan is engaging in that social credibility. And I'm saying, why? Because regardless of how well-intentioned you are, at the end of the day, the powerful and rich confirm it is true every time, that you won't get anywhere without being nice to them. So you will be nice to them. And that's the irony of sort of like why I say being a truly radical person does not make you rich. Being a truly radical person does not make you famous in the way that like these celebrities really get famous, because eventually you will say no to someone. Eventually you will be like, no, I can't do that and ethically be good. And then they'll be like, oh, you think you're better than me? And then all of a sudden, that's what it is, right? You're afraid of somebody saying, oh, you think you're better than me? What, you won't go to the Oscars? And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to the Oscars. I'm not going to the after party. I'm not going to hang out with your little fucking, again, 7 years ago, I would have eaten this shit up and said, invite me. But now it just feels like, why am I doing this? Okay, why am I engaging in this bubble? Plus I'm plant-based now, so I can't eat anything anyways that they're serving. You know what I mean? You know, Wagyu brought in. And by the way, I've had Wagyu. It is insanely good. Okay, I had a friend take me out to dinner. He paid for it. It was like a very expensive bill by the end of the night. And I was like, okay, I get it. I've had Wagyu. It is insanely good. And I'm never going to eat it again because I'm plant-based. You know what I mean? But like, when we have these conversations, it's like, I watch all these food shows. They're always telling us how expensive everything is. Yeah, but why? You know what I mean? It's just like all of these things. So again, I am not trying to attack anybody. I'm trying to say, you see how hard it is to be a good person? That like even the most well-intentioned people, in order to get any credibility in this world, you have to be kind of a bad person. You know?
When you open up the pot pie, it has a little aroma of the truffles inside of it. Think about 7 hours of sitting in the theater, the red carpet, and everyone at the end of the show that comes upstairs really looks forward to this.
Those get covered with pastry dough and coated with an egg wash.
Ooh, look at that. You can see the color from the black truffle. We can serve 1,000 of them and they're all gonna be hot because it's hermetically sealed with the puff pastry.
Despite the scale of this operation, Wolfgang's team makes everything from scratch.
A lot of catering companies, you know, they buy things and then just warm it up. We cook exactly the same way as we do at Spargo or Cut any or any of our restaurants. So everything
which is cool, you know, which is cool, right? Like that's pretty cool. The effort that goes into it. I wish this amount of effort went into also feeding everybody. And not just celebrities who God knows if they're even going to eat. How much food waste is going to happen? That's my question. After this event, how much food waste actually occurred? Because food waste is crazy. All people of all backgrounds experience incredible food waste. But like, that's cool. I love that part. I love the from scratch idea. Again, I just wish it wasn't just for you. I wish it was for everybody. Right?
Order.
They're hand rolling and filling 3,000 artichoke agnolotti. And during prep days, they're also mixing and shaping dough for 600 pizzas. This flour, water, and butter will become 750 tiny Wagyu slider buns.
The dough is ready. Now the next steps is to divide.
You know what? Chatter just had to go peace out. I think earlier they said it's hard to watch this because their family or somebody they know is going through food scarcity. And this is why I say it's upsetting to people. This is why I say, Hassan, read the goddamn room. You're a leftist and you're going to a party that is so gluttonous and people are facing genocides and they're suffering and they can't pay their rent and pay for their groceries. How are you, the radical leftist, engaging in one of the most gluttonous bubbles? That's what I'm saying. Like, what? This is such a man capitalist thing to do. And I understand that he's probably thinking, yeah, but I'll be able to spread my message larger and I'll be able to network and I'll be able to do all these things. Yeah, but like, doesn't this feel just like so silly right now? Wouldn't it have been more interesting for you to say, I was invited and I refused to go? Wouldn't it have been more amazing to say, I am protesting the Oscars. I'm protesting 30,000 meals being made for this one event versus 30,000 people being fed this week. You know, I'm protesting like celebrities have enough money to feed themselves. They should be donating all these meals to people. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like there were so many other ways this could have gone that could have still made him viral, that could have still gotten him famous, that could have still worked for his bank account, that could have worked for his audience. But no, Hassan wants to be invited to the Oscars or the Oscars after party. He does seem to be, he wants to be there. I think he wants to be validated. I think he does want people to know who he is. And I think he wants the validation from this bubble. Okay? And that's fine, right? Like, that's fine. Okay? But also, again, my values, I'm confused. I'm just confused. And I'm also just trying to point out the thing that I've always been trying to point out. Be weary of white men who rise to prominence over every other voice in the room. Because the reason he is the number one person is because of white supremacy. The reason he is the number one person is because of patriarchy. The reason he is the number one person is because of pretty privilege. The reason he is you know what I mean? Like every single thing about Hassan's story and background makes so much sense under all of these systems of oppression. Because only under these systems of oppression could he be the number one guy for a leftist movement and everyone goes, oh yeah, he's our best guy. He's the best guy. Again, this isn't even about Hassan, because if it wasn't Hassan, it would have been another white guy or another male straight man or another, you know, it wouldn't have been him. It would have been somebody like him. He's not even unique. He could disappear and another person will replace him, right? And when that other person replaces him, I'll be just as critical of that person because it doesn't actually matter who they are as people. They're fulfilling a role that reinforces the systems of oppression, in my opinion.
The dough in 35 grams.
They're also hand measuring and portioning the patties.
Everything needs to be scaled on the correct part to make sure the patty and the buns make only one. You know, you don't want it too soft because it will be mushy, or we call that. We have a nice coloration, perfect buns, very round, light, exactly what we're looking for.
To handle all this chaos, Wolfgang relies on his team from around the world.
This sampler here also is from Austria. So he's grading all the Parmesan cheese right now.
Your hand hasn't cramped up yet?
I've been training.
Yeah.
Wait, did he say Parmesan cheese? Chat really popped my bubble about Parmesan cheese. Now I can never look at it the same.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know?
Yeah, that's grading. It's grading.
Sushi chef Hiroyuki Fujino came in from Hawaii.
How long have you guys been working together?
It's about 29 years now.
Only. He had hair like that. As much as me.
There's one background that you're missing. And it's mine. We need a Jamaican chef in here.
Eric, do we have a cooking jacket?
Yes, absolutely.
The young lady wants to start making jerk chicken like from her native country.
Wolfgang walks around the kitchen offering tips.
No pineapple. Because when people are allergic, we don't want to send anybody to the hospital.
A hand.
Put a lot of them together. It's okay. Doesn't have to be so precise. If not, you won't finish. And if anybody tells you...
Actually, great example. Chat says, wasn't it Bezos who rented out like the entirety of Venice for his wedding? People were so mad they were protesting him, but also think of all the celebrities who showed up at that wedding. Please be clear. If Bezos invited Hassan to his wedding and Hassan went, would that be enough? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, when is it enough to say like, okay, what are we doing here? Because every celebrity that went to Bezos's wedding, I was like, I'm putting you on a list. I'm putting you on a list. Okay, it's a mental list, but you're on the list, buddy. Okay, why are you at this man's wedding? You know? And again, it's like, it's that idea of, you know, networking. It's a crazy lifetime, once in a lifetime experience. Like, and the question is, if Hassan went to that wedding, would it be enough? Yeah, Chad says, no, it wouldn't. People would say, Hassan is there to change minds and make connections. Exactly. So when is it enough? Like, when is it really your, like, values? You know what I mean? Your values do mean that you don't, like, this is why people say, like, oh, like, don't you, like, what's the point of sacrificing this thing when everyone else is going to do it? And I'm saying, because it's your values. It's not a sacrifice. So when is it going to be? What does he not do that's a part of his values? What is something he won't engage with or doesn't, you know what I'm saying? What event will he not go to because it's a part of his values? Or will he always go to every event he's invited to in the hopes of pushing his values? I just want to know, I'm asking this genuinely, like, where is the line for him? Because I don't get it.
Anything, tell him that's the way it has to be, okay?
And some jokes.
And if you have any problems with the guys, you call me, okay? I will straighten them out.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
What's that, Parker? I used his clip. No. Parker? Well, one of those white boy debate bros. I used his clip of him and Charlie Kirk debating on Jubilee about abortion in my latest commentary video because he's the liberal, and he goes, oh yeah, I believe abortion is wrong after so many weeks, just like Trump does. And he goes, oh wow. And Charlie Kirk's like, I have to give you credit for that. And I'm saying, you see how like in conversations, there's a conversation that allows these liberal men. I don't think it was Dean. I think it's Parker. I think Parker is his name. And so it's that kind of stuff that I'm like, even if he says he's a liberal, be careful, especially if he says he's a liberal, right? Be careful because again, and I don't need you to even say you're a communist or a leftist. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. I'm looking at what you do. I'm looking at what you say. I'm looking at how you show up and how you collaborate. Reminder, I think it's a huge red flag to collaborate with Charlie Kirk, to do anything with Charlie Kirk, to show up on the same stage as Charlie Kirk. And the fact that Hassan was going to do that 2 weeks before he died is exactly my point. Why are you even giving this man any credit? Okay, example, if Trump wanted to come on Hassan's stream like he did Aiden Ross's, do you think that would have been ethical to promote him? Do you think that would have been good? Because Andrew Schultz got thrown under the bus, rightfully so, by flagrant, by hosting Trump, right? That was wrong. He shouldn't have done that. XQC and Aiden should not have done that. Even though in my past, I would have thought, oh yeah, I want to interview the president. That's amazing. I'm not a journalist. I'm a streamer. You don't get to interview people as a streamer. You're only collaborating with them. You're only platforming them. I know because I learned myself. Oh, like, if I want to be a neutral party, I need to change jobs. If I want to be a person who interviews even the worst people on the planet, I better change jobs. Because if you're a streamer, you can't neutrally interview people, okay? You can't actually be sort of neutral. And so again, the question is, where is the line?
I thought we had to, at the end of the day, I'm like a coach, I'm like a teacher, but I have such a great team who actually can execute, you know, and Phil Jackson, when he was a coach.
Oh yeah, and great point, chat. Chat said even if Hassan had basically like gone to this event to network, he admitted to himself he was too shy to talk to anybody. So you didn't even talk to anybody about leftist politics or spread propaganda or talk to people about your work in Cuba. Okay, so like you couldn't even thank celebrities who promoted your own movement. So you actually didn't go to do anything. Damn.
He never shot a 3-pointer because he knew he had the right guys.
Part of his coaching, always having a spoon at the ready.
Okay, a little more salt. They say a chef doesn't eat, a chef always tastes. After the Oscars, we go on a diet.
I'm starting Monday.
It's the day before Oscar Sunday, and the team's kicking it into high gear.
How we do with the macaroni and cheese? Don't mess it up again, okay? 40 pounds of fontina cheese and 40 pounds of mozzarella cheese. And then we are making it a little spicy, it will be delicious. 80 pounds of pasta. Yeah, wow. I remember when Viola Davis came and she...
Not to brag, but I think perfected my plant-based mac and cheese. I've been eating it. I've been enjoying it. It's delicious.
Tasted and said, oh my God, the best macaroni and cheese ever. You have more cheese? Okay, let's put more cheese.
They portion out exactly 2 ounces into each of the 1,500 ramekins. Over in the butcher room, chef...
And by the way, I know a lot of the centrist guys will try to criticize Hassan for doing these type of things, but they would do it in a heartbeat. Do not get it twisted that a bunch of these centrist boys that just hate Hassan because it's the only thing they do with their life, they're losers, okay? I know for a fact that they would fucking do this if they could. And that's the other thing. Don't mistake my criticism for Hassan's position as the top guy, anything related to these men who would do it in a heartbeat. Again, I am just asking questions and I don't understand the line. And again, it's not me looking for ways. Hassan is just sharing and I'm like surprised. I think that's what it is. When I saw this clip come across my feed, I was like, why are you going to this event? It's not like I'm looking for ways for Hassan to look bad. He does it on his own. He is a man, after all. They just do it on their own. Okay? That's it.
Fugino slices 100 pounds of ahi tuna, flown in from Hawaii.
Big size of onion.
This is going to be our cheers afterwards. We're going to crack them open with wolf and take a nice uni party.
He portions the salmon for sushi and an Oscar-shaped classic.
We smoke our own salmon here and everything.
They pound a cracker Oscar base, top it with smoked salmon and creme fraiche. That's not the only Oscar shape they're using in the kitchen. Pastry chefs also fill molds with dark chocolate. They'll go through 2 gallons of 24K liquid gold for the coating.
Every star goes home with an Oscar from us. I don't want anybody to have tears in their eyes and say I lost. You know, they all are winners for us.
His team pumps out 3,500 mini statues.
I mean, it's cool and everything, but like, who's going to eat this? You know, I guess they could. I mean, I'd eat it, I guess.
And 25 large ones. The dessert team handles the most dishes. They're responsible for the gelato station, which is new this year.
Gelato.
And they're also piping out madeleines, constructing macaron towers, and filling cups with tiramisu.
Now we know the Italian are here, so we're in good shape.
I think it's very like army-like as far as like being organized. So you have the generals, the captains, and then we divide, right? So I think the stress level is managed by the peers of each department.
That stress comes to...
When I watch cooking shows, I'm like a fucking broken record. I'm just like, look at all the food waste. How much of that food's going to go to waste? My partner's like, it's probably going to go to waste. And I was like, that makes me so upset. I do. I am that girl. I am that girl who watches like TV shows and I'm like, how much food waste is happening here? Like I just get so very upset in a world where people like are literally going into thousands of dollars of debt because they can't afford milk. And I've been there myself. Like I have been a person who had to look for pennies on the ground just to afford lunch that day. And I would spend $1.75 on my chicken sandwich and a croissant. And I've been that girly. And so I do get my feelings like do get hurt when I see a lot of food waste. And my partner says like one of the most significant things about living with me is that I take food waste so seriously that sometimes it can, I admit, be a little much sometimes. But I also like, forgive me, you know what I mean? For like, you know what I mean? I really hate throwing out food. I really hate it. I hate when I mess up on food and I'm like, I can't eat this. Like that makes me so upset because I just know like people are starving, you know?
To ahead on Oscar Sunday. Today they can tackle the foods that have to be served fresh, like sushi rolls and chicken skewers.
It's not a dessert, it's a crab chamushi, which is a traditional Japanese egg custard. We're topping it off with crab.
Those mini Wagyu patties can finally be fired and added to the buns. Steaks hit the grills, and racks of chicken pot pies and mac and cheese come out of the oven glistening. Wolfgang gives his final seal of approval.
I still feel very calm. I think we're getting everything together, making the final adjustments.
Out in the ballroom, the team begins setting up. Most dishes are served at stations like the dessert.
I mean, it's cool. Like that's a cool, like I like seeing what people can do with food. And also, you know, it's cool. You know, I hope that, you know, it makes me sad, the idea of food waste. I hope something happened with the leftovers.
It's complete with freshly churned gelato. By 4 p.m., the ceremony begins, and a hush passes over the kitchen. Most of the chefs gather around a TV to watch.
Once they announce the best director, all hell breaks loose. Everybody starts to shout, but I tell them to stay quiet.
Everyone takes to their stations. One chef dollops caviar on the smoked salmon Oscars. Another shaves truffles. Everything is plated in a mad rush. Assembly lines get sauce, and garnish is on at lightning speed. Even Wolfgang jumps in on the line. 325 front-of-house staff stand ready to whisk the trays away.
Sorry, please.
Working the pass is Wolfgang's son, Byron.
All right, Snake River Farms beef with chimichurri. You got it? Put your thumb on the napkin so they don't fly. There you go.
I started working at Spago Beverly Hills as a dishwasher, and me coming in so high-minded at 12 years old, I fell in love and found myself with the same passion as my father. So I ended up with the best mentor you could possibly ask for.
I mean, that kind of stuff is cool, and I get it. Like, even if you become a chef, you're going to end up being in an industry and rubbing elbows with people that aren't the greatest. And that's the struggle with success. The struggle with success is like, who does it come at the expense of? And again, I'm not really trying to shit on anybody for being successful. I struggle with this myself. Is my success, how do I become successful without it betraying my value? Slowly. That's it, slowly. You know what I mean? Slowly. Because if I rush, I will do unethical things, because I've definitely had that happen in the past where I've gotten so many opportunities, but again, at the expense of my value. So I feel for these people that are so excited to work in an industry and they have to cater events that maybe they're not even like a big fan of, but also, what are you going to do? It's your job. And some people do love the idea that it's the Oscars, and like, there's a part of me that's human enough to understand that. I'm human enough to see like, oh, that's kind of cool. But also like, ew, there's two parts of me. My brain that goes, oh, cool. And my other brain that goes, disgusting. Ugh, you know what I mean? And those two Brittany's exist together. Usually the disgusting one gets the final say, but you know.
First hour, you're like, we got to make it happen. Then eventually it slows down a little bit, and then you can step back and be like, okay, this is...
Okay, Chet says I just Googled it and they do donate the leftover food. Okay, that's good.
This is going well.
And off we go, having the greatest party in the world.
The greatest party in the world. That's just marketing.
Some celebrities brought the party to the kitchen.
The greatest party in the world is a get-together with family and friends, but okay.
Oscar-winning director Ryan Coogler stopped in to say thank you to Wolf and his team.
We've been waiting for a half hour, Chef.
So overtime. Yes. All right. Well, I think everybody did such an amazing job. Cheers to next year.
Is that caviar? Ugh.
How many years do you think he had left it?
Well, I think that question you have to ask God, how much time He's going to give me. There will be no passing of the torch. I don't think so. I take the torch with me into my grave.
But if anyone here were to pick up that torch, Wolf says it's his son.
He's really amazing with the guests. He's good in the kitchen.
I'm proud of this legacy that my goal is to continue for another 44 years and beyond. And I know I will do just that because there is no other thing on this planet that I've been put here for.
Cheers to the next
Okay.
generation.
Oh. It's a calling. Whoopsies, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, chat says, when I worked at a seafood restaurant in California, the amount of waste from customers was atrocious. I would have to mentally disassociate each time I cleared their plate in the dish pit. I know. That's what I'm saying. I've worked in food industries myself, and you just kind of have to, like, you know, and I get it. It shows up everywhere. Look, it's not just rich people. A lot of people waste food. I know a lot of people who come from even poor backgrounds, and they really struggle with feeling like, quote, dignified. So they don't even eat leftovers. And I get it's trauma. We have to go to therapy. And it's just such a struggle. And again, I do understand there's something bigger here, but that's why I wanted to cover this. I wanted to cover this. You know, I understand it always, you know, it might look to people like, oh, Brittany's just like so critical of Hassan. It's not about him. It could have been anyone else in his position. He's just the guy in that position. Trust me, there's nothing special about Hassan Piker. He's just another man with a microphone. And whoever takes his place the next time will get as much criticism from me as he is if they keep acting the same way. Because again, they're just people. But I get it. I get for him, maybe, if I assume there's a part of his brain that's like, oh my God, I'm going to be celebrities. He mentioned Phineas, like, oh my God, Phineas. And I'm like with peace and love, you have to understand how much I'm not getting off this couch. Like this like couch I live on mentally, where I wasn't exaggerating the other day when someone was like, oh my God, if so-and-so was like, come see me, I'm an hour away. I'm like, I'm probably not getting off the couch. Like, no offense. Like, why would I get off the couch to come see you? Who are you? Are you my mother? Are you my sister? If you're my sister, I'm going to get off the couch to come see you. But if it's like a celebrity, like, I don't know you. We're strangers. Is it a cool celebrity? Like, is it somebody I love? Like, I love their work. You know what I mean? Like, who am I getting off this couch for? And it feels like the only reason I would get off that couch is I would have to tell myself, oh, it's an opportunity to collab. Oh, they're bigger and famous than I am. So is this a missed opportunity? That's the only reason I would get off that couch. And I think that's kind of a shit reason. You know what I mean? I do think that's kind of a bad reason. But I think that's what game Hassan is playing. I think that's the game most people are playing. And they think I'm playing that game, which is why people had the audacity to say like, oh, Brittany's one of these orbiters, or Brittany's using these famous guys' names to get whatever, or Brittany's a cloud chaser. Brittany is busy living. Brittany is not about to get off a couch. And you know for a fact this is true because every time these people DM me like, come on and collab, I'm like, nah, I'm hanging out with my family. Versus these guys would drop their family in a heartbeat to go collab with each other because they know it's going to go viral. Do you see how our values are not the same? I have the lived experience of saying no. Do you? Do you have the lived experience of saying no? Because I do. And that's the point. And that's why, once again, you should like this stream. You should become a member. You should leave a comment. You should share this with somebody else. Because your girl is never going to get famous or rich the way these boys are. But I would like to have a stable income till retirement. Thank you. Okay. All right. We're done. The gluttony. I'm over the gluttony. The gluttony of it all. Ugh.